Welcome to the program, everyone. Yesterday, President Tinubu signed into law the Electoral Act Amendment 2026, barely 24 hours after its passage by the National Assembly. And that sealed weeks of heated debate, civil society protest, and sharp partisan disagreements that have followed this bill. At the heart of the controversy is Section 60, the provision on electronic transmission of results. The new law mandates electronic upload of polling unit results to the IREF portal after Form EC8A is signed and stamped. But it also provides a caveat. Where electronic transmission fails due to technical or communication breakdown, the manually signed Form EC8A becomes the primary source of collation and declaration. For critics, that proviso reopens old wounds from 2023. Supporters are saying it simply reflects operational reality in a country still battling connectivity gaps. But beyond transmission, there are other far-reaching amendments which perhaps Nigerians aren't paying so much mind to that may reshape Nigeria's political architecture ahead of 2027. The law now recognizes only direct primaries or consensus for party nominations, effectively removing indirect primaries from the framework. It compels parties to secure written consent from all cleared aspirants before adopting consensus as an option, and are failing which they must revert to direct primaries. Interesting, right? But it also bars political parties from imposing additional qualification or disqualification criteria beyond what is already provided for in the Constitution, potentially limiting internal gatekeeping mechanisms. There's also the adjustment of the election notice timeline, reducing the window from 360 to 300 days, a move that could significantly alter what we know as INEC's timetable for the 2027 election. But we have to hear from INEC first. Supporters say the amendment enhances clarity, reduces internal party manipulation, strengthens transparency at polling units, and cuts ambiguity around collation. Opponents, on the other hand, argue that it weakens the sanctity of electronic transmission and centralizes party structures through compulsory direct primaries, and also leaves room for human discretion in the process that many Nigerians want fully digitized. Tonight, we interrogate what this law truly means legally, politically, and operationally for 2027. Let's begin with Accord Party Chieftain Saheed Ajadi, who joins us on the show this evening. Mr. Ajadi, glad to have you on Beyond the Headlines again. The controversy has focused heavily on Section 60, and I'm sure you're following the discussions very thoroughly. Critics argue that making Form EC8A the primary source where electronic transmission fails create a legal loophole that could be exploited. How are you reacting to that?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Good evening, Nigerians. For me, I've read through parts of the amendment, and I think that the president did well for signing the bill. You know, everywhere you are in the world, there is always an opposition, and there is always a critic to whatever you want to do, positively or negatively. So the majority of Nigerians looking at what has been done positively is in sync with what is going on. Take, for instance, some people are saying that it's good to have direct transmission. There are some places in Nigeria today that we don't even have access to internet. The POSs don't work there, nothing functions there. So in that kind of situation, how do we respond? Are they saying that they must not go through the electioneering process? The reality is that we must have backup for whatever we're doing in Nigeria, which is why they're saying that there is going to be a manual process and a direct transmission. If there is internet, then they can transmit immediately. But if there is no internet, there is nowhere in the world that internet does not fail. The Western world that we are trying to emulate and look at in what we're trying to do, most of them don't do what the opposition is asking for. So the reality as an opposition person is that we need to have patriotism in whatever we're saying to Nigerians. We need to have belief that we want things to work. We are not trying to bring down the system. However, the efforts of the National Assembly put in place and even listening to people and their views is showing us that there is positive progress in politicking in Nigeria. One, there is patriotism with the people that are in the National Assembly because they listened. Two, and our president is also a listening president. That is why all those amendments were done so that we don't make mistakes. If there is no internet on the day of election, or let's assume there's a force majeure, because there can be a force majeure, there could be heavy rains, there could be heavy storm, there could be heavy winds, there could be all kinds of stuff created by God. What are we going to do about it? We have to do it manually. So people saying that it's sabotage, is this, and I don't believe in that. I believe in giving free opportunity to us for us to be able to prove ourselves. So all those things now has been put in place for the benefit of everybody, and even nominations and all of that has been tackled properly so that before the election takes place, all parties would have done the right things before the election. So
absolutely. You know, it boils down to the credibility of our election. And perhaps what the opposition is asking for is a more transparent process. And it's interesting when you say what the opposition is asking for, because you are a chieftain of the Accord Party. Perhaps I got your designation wrong. Have you joined the APC now? Because many of your colleagues have.
Saying to you that if I am in the opposition as well, I feel good with what has been done.
All right. I get you.
You introduced me now, so I'm saying to you that all the things that have been put in the process, it's showing that there's transparency. There's no need to cry foul. For as long as we are able to elect and vote on the day of election, whoever we want to put in place, we are all going to be there, and we're all going to see the votes being counted. And for as long as the votes are counted in each polling booth, and we have records of it, we've been doing it manually. So I don't see how anything can change between the polling booth and the collation center, except we are not monitoring our votes. But for us to monitor our votes, if we're in the opposition, we have to monitor the votes and make sure our votes count. That's what matters. So even if we are going to transmit electronically, do you understand? The votes would have been counted first, physically, manually, at the polling unit. So you cannot negate the manual process and the process INEC wants to put in place. But as long as everybody's okay with the process INEC wants to put in place, Nigeria is fine.
It's very important that we probe whether this 2026 Act is contributing significantly to the quality of our elections, and if we can expect something better in 2027. The amendment, as it stands today, removes indirect primaries and leaves parties with only direct primaries or consensus. And as a party man, I'm sure you are thinking of the logistical burden and cost of direct primaries nationwide. Is this practical for parties like Accord, or do you think it risks internal implosion for smaller parties?
Well, if there is not an implosion, there have been consensus every time that it's trying to do politics. Last election, there was a consensus in Accord Party. We were trying to do primaries, and someone else came in from APC and said that he wanted to join Accord Party in 3 days. And there was a consensus to allow him contest. So depending on the popularity of the candidate and the need for the candidate and the need to change the protocol. So for me, I don't see anything wrong in that. If there is direct primaries or there's going to be a consensus, there's nothing wrong with it. I actually feel that we have moved further in our electioneering process with the amendment of this bill.
You know that the consensus provision now requires written withdrawal and endorsement by every single cleared aspirant in the party. Now, perhaps you want to school us on how it works. You said the Accord Party has been used to consensus. How easy has it been to get every aspirant to sign and withdraw in acceptance of a single candidate?
No, it was not easy. It's never been easy. especially when you want to actually contest the election. That's why I said it happened in 2023. The consensus was done without the cognizance of some of the candidates. It didn't go well. But if the consensus, like I said, is acceptable and everybody signs and INEC concedes to it, fantastic. But if there's a problem with the consensus, then there's an issue. There's an issue. Because last time Accord tried it, it became a very, very chaotic situation. But you see, for me, as a person, I believe in loyalty and patriotism. So I don't go against whatever the party says, even if I'm aggrieved. I can write to the party, I can complain to the party, and they form a committee that will handle such things. That is because I'm a party man. Some people will not handle that and take it the way it is. However, it is still a better option. It's a way out of the situation for us to have consensus.
Let's take a short break and we'll be back with more. Stay with us, everyone. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. We're looking at the new Electoral Act of 2026 that was just signed into law by Mr. President yesterday. Section 85 actually restricts parties from imposing additional qualification or disqualification criteria beyond the Constitution. I guess time will tell to see whether this significantly weakens party autonomy or it betters democracy and the quality of it ahead of this election. Saheed Ajadi is a chieftain of the Accord Party. Thank you so much for staying the course on the program this evening. Let's talk about the reduction of election notice, indeed, from 360 to 300 days. It means, therefore, that we probably will be hearing from INEC soon about changing the timetable as it currently is and bringing it backward to January. What do you make of that development? Do you think we have enough time as we speak now for INEC to prepare for this election?
I think so, because what it means is that we're forward thinking. Reason being that some Nigerians are Muslims, and the consideration is that the elections might fall into Ramadan, which is that's why they want to move it close to home, maybe in January, like that. For me, it's not bad. I don't see anything wrong in it. If you have done your homework well as a party man and you are in a particular organization, it depends on who the populace wants to vote. So the timing reduction or increment has nothing to do with you being elected. What matters is that we need to be patriotic and support Nigeria to succeed. It is not about a party issue. You can see that so many people got elected on the basis of a particular party. By now, they have become to another party. That's why you have 31 governors in APC now. You have very few opposition. So the issue for me is to make sure that we are patriotic enough to get elected and follow the rules of the game. Because if INEC is saying this is the rule, it has to be the rule. It's just like playing football. You are going to sign up to FIFA for a World Cup event. You have to follow the rules. Even if FIFA says that we are going to do CRA, VIR or VAR issues now, you might not like it, but the reality is that that is the law now. So we have to abide by it. If INEC says it's now 300 days, fantastic for me. And whoever is going to get elected must be prepared for it, because that is what the umpire is saying. So for me, being in opposition is not anything wrong. It's about patriotism and getting there to do the right thing.
I thought that APC had 30 governors. Are you adding Adamawa to it? Because you said 31.
Oh, right, 30 governors. I beg your pardon.
Because I saw,
that is even a plus.
But how can you even be excited about that as a member of the opposition? Shouldn't you be worried that
you know why I'm excited?
Your party has only one governor now as we speak?
The reason why I'm excited is that it is showing that there is so much maturity and improvement in our electioneering process. That is the dynamism of government of the people, for the people, and by the people. If you are not okay with a particular party, there's no compulsion. You leave it.
I thought the idea of democracy is multiplicity of interest and the ability of people to express themselves differently. There are people who would say having 30 or 31 governors is driving it towards a one-state party, which of course the APC has denied?
I was asked that question before, but the answer is when PDP was the ruling party, people were decamping to PDP from opposition party. Some people left their own seats to be PDP members. It's not new. Things will change before the general elections. You will still see movement. There's no harm. A lot of people will be in a party and they say they are not okay with that party and they will leave. Maybe some people want to be governor or senator or whatever and they do not get the ticket in a particular party. If the window is still open, they will leave. So Nigeria politics is not yet about ideology. It's not about ideology. That's why you are seeing these movements like this. It's not about ideology because it's about, I need to get there. What are you going there for?
Some say that many of the movements we're seeing right now, it has nothing to do with governance or democracy. It's just politicians.
Precisely, that's what I'm saying to you.
Looking for the right platform to run with. But the challenge with the APC also would be that even though they may all agree as to who the presidential candidate is, there will be trouble at the state level, considering who runs for governor or for National Assembly and the many seats in the House of Assembly. So perhaps we'll see how that play out in the coming days. But let's get back to...
Which is good for democracy as well.
Of course.
It's a fantastic development for democracy too. Competition is good for us, so we get the best candidate eventually.
The competition, though, should be across different political parties. Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that the democratic element would be that a party like your party, Accord Party, stands a fair chance of winning an election rather than everyone running into a single big party. What do you think?
A lot of people are already decamping now to Accord.
From which party?
To beat in your state.
From where?
Yes.
From which party?
From unknown parties and new greyhounds are coming into our party.
I thought we were going to say from APC.
I didn't want to mention a name, but you are pushing me to go close to mentioning a name. There's a prominent minister in the cabinet of the president right now. As soon as he lost in Accord, he was not a member of Accord. He was a member of APC. He lost primaries in APC. And he moved to Accord. That's what I was saying in 3 days.
I get it now. Your party strategy is to wait for disgruntled APC members. When they lose primaries, you provide a platform for them.
No, that's not what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you that the disgruntled member left APC and was imposed in Accord.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. And that's not fair. But that is part of politics. Because if you're a party member, you don't want to leave the party, you either negotiate or accept or complain. One of the three.
But that's also probably the destiny of your party in 2027, that many of these big wigs who have left to the APC, who perhaps do not get their desired tickets, will come back to parties like Accord to run. But
I'm saying to you that cross-carpeting has just started.
Indeed.
We have not even seen anything yet.
It's all right.
Cross-carpeting we will talk about this again in another 6 months. Then you realize that so many disgruntled members will find their way out of parties to move into another party. Because it's just one candidate for every seat. And so if that is just one candidate and you are not the party's choice and you still want to be on the ballot, you probably want to move to another party. That's why I said politicians now don't have ideology. In those days, you hardly will see an MPN man move to UPN or NNPP or something like that. You can't find it. But now, it's a situation of desperados. It's not about Nigeria. It's about desperation to be in government to serve themselves.
Let's talk about some developments ahead of the election. Just last night, we broke the news that former Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai, who had been with the FCC for 2 nights, left there to the DSS, who are probably going to arraign him for some count on issues of what's it called now? Cyber crime and what have you. You know that there's a political coloration to what is happening right now. The opposition is saying, oh, this is the ruling party, trying to persecute big wigs within the coalition ADC ahead of 2027. How are you reading this development, especially as a member of an opposition party?
I'm not going to speak from a member of opposition party now. I'm going to speak like a Nigerian. El-Rufai has a lot of questions to answer. El-Rufai's 8 years custody, as for me, the kind of records that I have of El-Rufai, there's nothing good about El-Rufai. El-Rufai was very, very vicious in Kaduna State. What happened to the southern Kaduna people in 8 years? 800 people died in a day. El-Rufai did not flinch. The people that were killed in Zaria, El-Rufai did not flinch. The people that they destroyed their house with caterpillar, including former governor, El-Rufai did not flinch. So El-Rufai is a vicious, crazy, evil person. For me, that's why I said I'm not going to.
We have to be careful the language we use on national TV.
Words, but that's what El-Rufai deserves. El-Rufai is part of the major problem of Nigeria.
You really can't use those words because
okay, so that's why I said
it won't be fair, right?
Those words. El-Rufai is one of the major problems of
Before
Nigeria.
we move on, Mr. Ajadi, I would like if you can withdraw those statements because Malam is not represented here.
The only thing I said was that El-Rufai is evil and is vicious.
So you won't apologize for calling him evil, because if you call someone evil,
no, I'm not going to apologize for calling him
you must have proof and evidence to show.
Apologize for that. I won't apologize. You know what? I'm giving you his custody of 8 years. Aside from the capital of Kaduna State, go to southern Kaduna. Go and see what is happening there. Go and see the level of decadence there. Is southern Kaduna part of Kaduna State? It is part of Kaduna State. Okay, if I can accept, if you go into records, El-Rufai did interviews that said he paid bandits when he was governor. El-Rufai said he was part of the people that brought terrorists to Nigeria, foreign terrorists to Nigeria. So when they now won the election with Buhari in 2015, these people became a menace to him. So El-Rufai has a look. If I am NSA to the president, El-Rufai will answer plenty of questions, more than you are saying.
Well, you are not NSA, Mr. Ajadi. And but it
the reality is that from records, from monitoring, we have been Nigerians over 50 years.
It's all right.
I watched El-Rufai be the custodian as the FCT minister. I have personal grudges against El-Rufai. It's obvious. I was given an apartment by the federal government in Abuja because El-Rufai wanted to be a governor. He did not sit in a position as a minister.
Well, I think we lost connection with Mr. Ajadi. It's important to note that we cannot independently verify many of the claims that Mr. Ajadi has raised against the former Kaduna State governor. Those are his thoughts, and they have nothing to do with the editorial leaning of TVC News and Beyond the Headlines. That's our show today. I've been speaking with Saheed Ajadi, chieftain of the Accord Party. Remember, you can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.